Hello and welcome to this week's RuneScape news, including a 20-year veteran cape and a significant buff to some of the ancient summoning familiars. Whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Players that have a 20-year or older account will now be able to claim an impressive 20-year-old veteran cape, something that not many players will be able to do. Now, if I'm being entirely honest, the cape looks a little bit too bulky in my opinion, but it does stand out, and for that reason it does have a kind of cool factor. But one thing I'm definitely missing is the particles that the 15-year cape had, and I don't really see why the 20-year cape doesn't have the same particles as the 15-year cape, or something entirely different in terms of particles. It's something I'm definitely missing. But yeah, I don't have the cape myself yet, so I can't really complain, I guess. Next up, we have some changes or buffs regarding the ancient summoning familiars created using binding contracts. According to Jagex, the Hellhound familiar was underwhelming, and its 10% damage reduction and absorption has been turned into 20%. Now, while this does make the familiar better, the amount of health hasn't been buffed, so it's still not going to be viable for Slayer because it's simply going to die more quickly. And as for PVM, I honestly have no clue where you would use this. Maybe for solo Beastmaster. I have no clue though, so don't quote me on that because I have never attempted solo Beastmaster or looked into it. The Blood Reaver has received a buff as well. The total amount of HP the familiar has been increased to 20,000. The scroll effect seems to be nerfed on paper, but in reality, because of the health buff, you're going to be healing about 20% more every time you use the scroll. Finally, the healing to damage passive effect has received a 32% buff because it was increased to 33%, which is pretty big if you ask me. This is going to be great for those people that use it for Gold Rush Dungeon 2 AFKing or Moss Golem barraging. The Calgarian Demon's attack speed has been changed or fixed. It has a new passive giving 1% critical strike chance to players using the familiar, and the scroll duration has increased from 15 to 60 seconds, which means in group PVM you'll probably be able to keep this up quite easily at all times, giving all players in close proximity of the familiar a plus 5% critical strike chance increase, which is fantastic for if you want crits, probably particularly useful if you're using a Fractured Staff of Armadyl. The final patch note worth mentioning is that you'll be able to obtain the Hetz Oasis event rewards as a rare drop by doing the Hetz Oasis activities. Of course, they announced this after the event ended because, well, it's pretty obvious. In the post, it also states that Jagex has partnered up with Steamforged Games to bring us a RuneScape-themed board game for up to 5 players and a tabletop role-playing game that will be coming this year as well. The board game will be launched on Kickstarter, and the tabletop role-playing game will be in the store straight away. Interesting choice. Am I missing something, or does that just not make sense to me? There's a partnership, but Jagex isn't funding one of the two projects, or I don't know, guys. Anyways, that being said, we've come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below and maybe even consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.